your girl went to work. Like I said earlier, I'm not a professional, but when it comes to hair, I'm gonna save my money and do it myself. And I think I do a pretty damn good job, so. Hey baes, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Captain Alexandra. On today's video, we are going to be doing a little bit of lock repair. So if you saw my last video, my last retwist video, you will know that I actually cut off one of my locks. So these short hairs that you're seeing is the breakage that I experienced around the lock. We're gonna go ahead and cut it off today, but look you guys, here we go. All right, you guys, 1, 2, 3. So I have the lock here. We are gonna go ahead and reattach it today. I have these 2 crochet hooks. I got these from Amazon. It is on my storefront. I don't remember how much it cost, but it wasn't a lot. It was probably like $5 for the both of these. So they come in 2 different sizes. One is a 0.5 mm and then a 0.75 mm. So the only difference between the two is that the hook on the 0.5 is a lot smaller and thinner, so it can really get in there and get any loose hairs. This is a bit of a thicker hook. I tend to use this one on my locks that are a little bit thicker, but this 0.5 one is really what we're going to be focusing on today because, again, because it's smaller, it can get in all of those loose hairs. Let me start off by saying, first and foremost, that I am not a professional. I am not a loctician, okay? However, I've been self-maintaining my locks for the last, I want to say 7-8 months now. I feel pretty confident when it comes to taking care of my hair. Before my locks, I had loose natural hair that I took care of myself for forever. So I'm not a professional, but I'm very comfortable with doing any and everything when it comes to my hair. And of course, I did my research prior to attempting to attach this lock today and using a crochet hook. I did a lot of research on it, watched a lot of videos, from professionals. Just had to put that tidbit out there, okay? So I've been really walking around here with this lock missing in the back of my head for like 2 weeks. Life has just been really busy and hectic for me lately, but it's no big deal because we're gonna fix it today, okay? This is where it was at the root, and then as you get down the shaft of the lock, it's thicker. So what I'm gonna do is, because this part is locked, we're gonna take our crochet hook and unlock it a little bit. And the reason why you want to do this is because in order to attach this lock back to the hair, you need a little bit of loose hair at the root in order to attach it. If this part is locked and you're trying to attach it to the missing area where the hair is, where you have the loose hair, it's not going to attach. So you have to use a hook and a comb to kind of comb it out a little bit, to kind of get it a bit frayed, I guess is the word. And then we'll use this to attach it back to my roots. And I'll show you in a moment after I'm done doing this what the area looks like, because you also want to make sure that you have a good amount of new growth in place before you attempt to reattach a lock. If not, it's not going to stay. So first, let's kind of comb this out. And as I'm doing this, I'm also seeing like a little bit of lint coming out of this. So it's crazy how much your locks accumulate lint. Like, I could make a whole sweater with this. So this is what it is looking like thus far. I'm gonna comb out a little bit more. Take your time with this. You don't have to rush through it because you don't want to pick away at it too hard and then all of the hairs just start coming out and then you don't have a lock left to work with. So take your time. as much of this lint as I can. There's so much lint in this lock. If you have like a lot of lint in your locks, what do you guys do to get it out? I've seen a few videos where people actually just dye their locks, because when they do that, it dyes the lint, and I'm like, okay, that's good for cosmetic purposes, but it doesn't actually get the lint out. And I also don't want to have to dye my hair in order to make this lint not visible. So if there's a way that you can like safely and successfully get lint out of your locks, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna do some research myself as well, and if I find the answers out, I'll let y'all know, because this is crazy. All right, so here we go. I have combed out a good amount of hair. There's a piece of lint right here. That gotta go. Hold on, that got to go. What is that? Because I refuse to crochet this back in my hair with all this lint. This is crazy. So here we are. This is the most important thing. When you are doing lock reattachments, when you are doing crochet maintenance on your locks, do it on dry hair. Your hair cannot be wet in order to complete this. If it's wet, it's not gonna work. When it's wet, your hair is obviously very slippery. It has a lot of elasticity, and we don't need all of that right now. We need these hairs to stay in place, okay? I have my hair up and I have the area sectioned off. I also put on my glasses because your girl's about to go to work. Call me Bobiana, not Bob the Builder, but Bobiana the Builder. So I have my glasses on so I can make sure that I can fully see what I'm doing. I'm gonna turn around and show you the area where the hair is that I'm gonna be reattaching it to. I also have some lock clips that I put on my hair. This is just so you guys can get a clear visual of what it is that I'm doing without having any of my other locks in the way. So this here is the area where the lock was. And as you can see, I have a significant amount of new growth. So that's an important thing I want to say as well before I attach this lock, is that you want to make sure that you actually have a significant amount of new growth in place before you actually try to attach this lock back. If it's shorter than that, there's going to be no hairs for you to be able to grip and crochet back into the lock. So that's important. You want to do this on dry hair, and you want to make sure that the area where you're attaching the lock back to has a good amount of new growth. So I would suggest at least 2-3 inches, okay? I'm going to comb the hairs out. Take the lock and place it over the hairs like this, okay? So that area that I frayed out, that I picked out with the crochet hook, is going to pretty much layer over the hairs where the new growth is. And this is what I'm going to be crocheting. So when I crochet that area that I picked out with my new growth, it's going to be a solid form, and then the rest of it will be my lock. So I'm gonna take my crochet hook, take the 0.5 crochet hook, hold it taut in place. And I'm basically gonna take the hook and do a in and out motion. So I'm taking those loose hairs, and as I'm doing this in and out motion with the hook, I'm also gonna be turning my lock at the same time. Going over, pulling those hairs in, under. And as I'm doing this at the same time, I'm also turning the locks as well. Turning the hair so that it forms into a cylinder shape, which is basically a lock. So over, under, see? And the purpose is that you really want to gather those hairs so that as you're turning this, the hairs are going towards the center of the lock. And basically what I'm doing with the hook is I'm starting like this, and as I get, so you see this is the crochet hook, and it has a very, very tiny needle hook on it, right? Be careful, because also this could be very painful if you prick yourself with it. So I'm starting like this underneath it, and as I'm going over, I'm pulling those hairs. As you see, the hook is going this way, and then I'm pulling them in the middle, and as I'm turning it, I'm going under and over, under and over, and turning the lock at the same time. So that is how you get the lock to attach and also form that round cylinder shape. So under over, under, over. And be careful when going out. You also want to have control over your motion, so you don't want to keep coming far out like this with the hook, because then you'll end up pricking yourself. And also the purpose is to keep the hairs here in the center. So if you're going too far out, you may be pushing the hairs out instead of keeping them in the middle of the lock. So try to keep your range of motion very tight. As you can see, you guys, it's starting to attach. So I'm going to keep going down this lock. Remember, under, over, under, over. And also expect that the length of the lock is going to be a little bit shorter, because remember, we combed it out in the beginning, so we technically lost a little bit of length, but your hair is going to grow back nevertheless. At least it may be a little bit shorter versus a whole lock missing back there. So sometimes you got to pick your poison. I'm just going to use the 0.75 hook, just because, like I said, I tend to use this on locks that are like thicker, and this is pretty thick, and I really want to get in the middle here. So this kind of just reinforces everything I just did. Reinforce the cylinder shape. And here we are. Look at that, you guys. And you see I'm pulling on it, and it ain't going nowhere. Your girl went to work. Like I said earlier, I'm not a professional, but when it comes to hair, I'm gonna save my money and do it myself. And I think I do a pretty damn good job, so. So if you found this video helpful, you guys, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you are somebody that does crochet maintenance on your locks, or you also have repaired or reattached a lock yourself, let me know if you were successful in doing it. And if not, and you're somebody that is trying to figure out if you want to do it yourself, then definitely refer to my video as a point of guidance. Like I say, I'm not a professional, but I definitely did my research beforehand and also feel comfortable doing it myself. So you have outlets out there that can guide you along the way. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, okay? I'm over 1,000 subscribers now, and I'm very excited about that. But remember, the goal was to hit 100K by the end of this year. So we got some work to do, all right? So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.